Stop measuring relationships by time and start measuring them by truth.
Why do I bother when you're not the one for me? Isn't enough?
Today's episode of Eff Norms is called We Don't Celebrate Anniversaries or Longevity. Too many people pride themselves on celebrating X amount of years together, as if longevity alone equals success. This ties directly into my last video about what people think they need for a healthy relationship. Before I start, if you came here to say, well, I celebrate anniversaries. Wonderful. What a unique and original concept. Did you think of that all by yourself? Sarcasm aside, there's no need to waste your time announcing that on a series built around challenging societal norms and expectations. It literally says in my bio or description, if you came here for normal, don't bother. Now that we've cleared that up, let's get into it. Contrary to what many people believe, longevity does not automatically equal a healthy or successful relationship. Years alone mean nothing without quality. Time can coexist with dysfunction just as easily as it can with love. You won't see us posting about how many years we've been together because we don't measure success by time. We measure it by health, depth, impact we have on each other's lives, emotional and psychological safety with one another, our individuality, growth, and accomplishments, both independently and together. Now, don't get it twisted, we regularly celebrate life, moments, and us, just not because a date on the calendar told us to. Let's be real. At 40, I've seen way too many couples post their anniversary pics, getting flooded with praise in the comments. I hope I can have what you have one day. Or the religious folks throwing in, God will do it, won't he? Or, I can't wait to have this kind of love. But behind the scenes? Shit. They are anything but what people think. Those same years people glorify might have been not what you think. I cannot tell you how many times people I have personally known who proudly shared or boasted about these markers of success, while the reality of their lives and relationships was the complete opposite of what they portrayed. Instead, time was filled with abuse, cheating, manipulation, incompatibility, or the I don't want to hurt their feelings if I leave, or the I don't want to be alone situations, so I'm just going to settle. As if you can't still feel alone in a relationship that you aren't even really happy in. Or you have pure complacency, just too afraid to leave and actually live, or deep unhappiness. I have seen people I know, love, and care about celebrate or glorify being together a long time, only to know firsthand that those years were miserable and, to me, not worth celebrating. I've known someone who stayed in a relationship for a decade, constantly complaining and saying that they didn't really want to be with that person, but they didn't have the courage to leave. Yet every year, celebrating anniversaries, exchanging gifts, faking happiness. For some, behind those milestones, there is severe abuse. And disclaimer, before I share this explicit example, understand this. A relationship does not have to look like the example I'm about to share to be toxic or abusive. And to be clear, I'm not criticizing anyone who is in a severely abusive situation. I understand there are layers to abuse, and in many cases, leaving is not simple, especially when your safety or life is at risk. I'm sharing this to make you think more critically about what you're praising, glorifying, and valuing. And for some of you, even encouraging people to stay in something unhealthy simply because the whole, you've been together so long. Time is not a reason to stay. I notice people continue to praise longevity with no real understanding of what's behind it. I remember reading the comments on one anniversary post of this example. All I could think about was just one incident out of many over the course of 20 years that they'd been together. She was pinned to the ground with her husband on top of her, head slamming her head on the ground repeatedly until she had a concussion, lost control of her body, and peed on herself. And sadly, all while a child was being raised in this environment. But online, celebration, applause, admiration, and those comments that I mentioned earlier were literally the exact comments I will never forget seeing under that post, only because I knew the reality of that relationship was severe. So, when you're praising couples like that, do you actually know the dynamics of what you're glorifying? Do you know what you're applauding? Because sometimes what you're praising is survival, not love. Listen, what are we really celebrating here? 5, 10, 15, 20 years of surviving a relationship? We're tolerating pain, tolerating bullshit, avoiding arguments, settling in mediocrity, suppressing yourselves, not able to fully be yourselves, performing happy moments for an audience? Is that really the bar we're setting for success? So many people are conditioned to follow a script. Stay, endure, celebrate the years, perform the role, and in doing that, they waste precious time and miss out on healthier relationships, better opportunities, and a more fulfilling life. Listen, some doors will never open unless you find the courage to close the ones holding you back. As I said in the last piece, many people have been conditioned to believe that a successful relationship has to include things like curated family photos, rings, engagements, anniversaries, weddings, honeymoons, religion, expensive purchases, sleeping in the same bed, kids, buying a home, as if these are universal indicators of love, happiness, or success. They're not. And if your thinking is limited to that, you may feel uncomfortable when you see people who don't follow that path. Now, if you are in a genuinely healthy and loving partnership, and you're honest about what you have, not just attached to the idea of what you think you have, then yes, it can be beautiful. But this is a reminder to reflect and, more importantly, to understand that you have permission to live fully and happily outside of social, cultural, or familial expectations. So remember, quality matters way more than longevity. Depth matters way more than appearances, and health matters way more than performance. Longevity and anniversaries alone are not markers of success. They don't automatically mean love, health, happiness. For some, they just mean that time has passed and nothing more than that. But hey, if you want to celebrate years of suppressing, suffering, pretending, surviving, or settling, pop that champagne bottle. Guess. Happy anniversary. Cheers.